My average revenue per day this week was $268.19. And the screen recordings I'm showing you are from one of my most successful niche categories for YouTube channels. And today is an absolutely beautiful day so far. No rain. I don't think we have any rain in the forecast, but it's beautiful. It's not too hot either. Granted, I am on this hot asphalt, but we're going to see how long this iPhone can stick with me here, because I know my Samsung, if I was recording on it, would be limited and it would start overheating. So we may have to make this quick. Do you know what gets easier? Anything you do, the longer you do it. And I got to tell you guys, this is actually kind of a little bit of a revelation of my own, which I just share with you guys on these videos. Really a reminder for myself as I go back and watch these from time to time. Pool maintenance has gotten easier for me. The concept, the way in which the plumbing works and the components and the measurements and the chemicals. And at first, it seemed overwhelming. It seemed daunting. It seemed like, you know what, this is too much for me. Overcomplicated, complex. Granted, we hire professionals, but as time goes on, as I learn more, as I talk to these professionals, it gets easier and easier and easier. Who knows? Maybe one day I do start that pool maintenance company. But it's because the longer you do it, the easier it gets. It's you take small bites, small chunks, you learn things, little things here and there, they add up, it's compounded, and it just gets easier. I think YouTube's the same way. And from so many different perspectives, especially me sitting here talking to you on this channel in this way, it gets easier. Today is day 12. I'm looking forward to every day to come with more of these conversations and chats. And this channel, the titles, the topics, the thumbnails, the intros, the hooks, they all just get easier. Reason being, I'm only sharing with you what I want you to know. I wanted you to know what my revenue was for the last 7 days on average and in total. I wanted you to know my most successful niche category, or categories, which we will talk about here in just a moment. And it's just gotten easier for me to just title it that way, share it that way, and then announce that and present that as soon as the video starts. Like it's just so easy. I don't have to try and mentally hijack viewers or even myself into thinking or believing something that neither one of us do, just for the sole purpose of triggering maybe the algorithm or whatever for virality, views, likes, engagement, reach, revenue. I don't have to do that. So like it just gets easier. I'm like so looking forward to the next and the next and the next, opposed to dreading the next and the next and hoping that there's success. The success here, in my opinion, is consistency and delivering each and every day, authenticity and honesty. And just a recap, a conversation, a reminder, a pep talk, motivation, whatever it may be at that time or whatever it may be in the future, and how it hits me or you or whomever. And it just gets easier and easier and easier. For anybody interested in starting, I would definitely say go down that route and just keep it simple, you know? So the last 7 days, I've got a chart here of the analytics, and we had some ups, we had some downs, and it is what it is. We would, I mean, I'm sure all of us would love to see any income, any revenue continuously grow and increase day after day after day. But, I think the fact that there are increases from some days to the others is a part of the realization that, we have that potential. Now, how do we capitalize on it? How do we execute in those ways on a regular basis? Sometimes it's out of your control, especially with YouTube. A lot of times it's really out of your control. Let's just be honest. YouTube's usually out of your control besides what you can control. What I can control is what I make, when I make it, and how I deliver it. Like, that's literally what I can control. I can't control anything else. Although I try to understand and work with the algorithm in a way that would, produce successful results, I can't control my impressions. I can't control my click-through rate. I can't control anything. Granted, maybe I can control impressions, but I'm not willing to pay to promote my videos on YouTube because that's just, to me, counterproductive. Maybe if there was a hard sell of something to push, maybe, but even still, my whole philosophy is against paid ads. So it doesn't align with my morals, my values, my business strategy per se. I think that would probably be the best way to describe it. And as far as, not being in full control, it's like YouTube. I've told people this before. It's like it is a business. Okay. Number one, your YouTube channel is a business, but like most businesses, there's seasonality. And so you'll experience seasons of high traffic, high volume, high sales, high revenue, high everything. And then you'll have seasons that aren't, okay? And so as we look past on previous months, we can see, okay, well, maybe this is a representation of seasonality. But to be honest with you, it's not. I mean, granted, the end of the year, the fall, the last quarter is usually the best. January, February is usually the worst because advertisers are paying less. Then it's like, well, if you want to increase your earnings, maybe you need to switch the type of advertiser to earn the most, but then you're also going to want to get the most views to make the most money on ads. And then it could be an increase in volume if you can't get the views on each video. But I will say this, by the time I was like done with last year, and also we were buying a house, we bought a house in February, I was done. Like, I was spent because I was grinding so hard, and I was like, I need a break. So, it is what it is. Now, granted, not all my revenue income comes from YouTube. So this is only part of a whole, and this is only one out of multiple channels that I have where the streams are coming in. The totals fluctuate. And at this point in time, I am getting more focused and more disciplined, but also continuing to live my life and enjoy my freedom. There's a reason why the school and Patreon are named Stay Free. It's because I want to do just that. Stay free. Yesterday, Friday, I posted 3 videos on my main channel. And I want to go over those 3 videos that I posted on my main channel. And bear with me, folks. I'm setting up my screen recorder. So what I'm doing here is I set my screen recorder up on my phone, and I set it to record my mic also, so that I can get a, I can match the audio, and then I'll remove the audio from my phone, and then my screen recorder will be in real time with you guys as we do this. And so the 3 videos I put up yesterday, there's a reason behind it. The first video was actually based on like a personal story. It was based on like a personal story of actually my wife and I just going out for morning breakfast, early brunch or lunch, not really sure. We ended up eating sandwiches. So I don't know if the sandwich is really a breakfast meal, but it was really just that. And letting people know on the main channel that school coaching and Patreon was available. And I paused the comments on that video because the main channel, it's a mixed bag over there. It's a mixed bag over there. And oftentimes when I present certain things and I talk about certain things that are outside the norm that I want them to know about, I want them to be aware of, I want them to have that opportunity to, execute on if they so choose. I'm also hit with some haters and, opinions. It's a much larger channel. It has greater reach naturally, although that video performed as expected with like 1,000 views, which is not a big deal. Odds are it's probably 1,000 views of people who actually wanted that information or just genuinely gave a shit about me and my wife and our personal life, whatever. But I also know that yesterday was just the one day that I published it. We still have today. We still have tomorrow. We still have theoretically, an infinite amount of time in the future for this video to be discovered, to be shared. So, I don't plant seeds today hoping the tree grows tomorrow. I'm patient. But it's also a test because, part of this on any channel or as a coach and consultant, I need to know as much as I can possibly know about how YouTube works, the algorithm, and interests and audiences and conversions. Conversions are huge because I'm going to talk to you guys here in just a moment about success, and conversions are part of success. So bear with me here, folks. So the second video I posted was more along the lines of a conversation I really wanted to have mixed into a topic or title and thumbnail that I thought that they would agree with, they being the algorithm, the audience, typical viewers. And it performed slightly better than the first video for the day, but still underperformed in my opinion. But again, we still have, who knows? I've had instances where videos I've made a year ago start getting views a year later. They get a wild hair, the algorithm pushes them. You just never know. The only thing that I do know for sure is that the more opportunities you have out there, the more seeds you plant, then the more chances you're likely to see them sprouting and growing legs and running and going viral, and maybe even, defining your channel or redefining your channel, depending. Especially if you yourself as a creator maybe are in a rut and you need some help, a push, motivation, some guidance, direction. Lastly, the third video, I kind of knew from the start was going to work. It had some components in it that I have used before with success, and it didn't disappoint. It ironically was a 3 of 10 and not a 1 of 10, which is perfectly fine considering the 1 and 2 above it were substantially higher views. But number 4 behind it is at like 50% of where it's at now. So I consider this to be a win. Also, in terms of success, more importantly, this video is appealing to a wider audience than usual. That's a plus, because here's the deal. Channels grow subscribers, but then their views don't match their subscribers because of how subscribers behave, because of how algorithms behave. And so for video on your channel to reach and appeal to a wider audience means you're growing your subscribers. So as we see here, this video gained 45 subscribers. That's amazing. That's fantastic. If I can continue on down this path, I can continue on getting more different viewers to watch, perhaps maybe triggering the algorithm to promote my videos more in browse and recommended, suggested, and up next. And even still from basic math, nice. This video is appealing to a wider audience, contributing to 55% more views than usual. Well, if I just apply basic mathematics and compounding to this, if I can continuously get 55% more views on every future video, well, eventually that's going to grow substantially. Can you imagine if you can get 55% more money every single day? Every single time you go to work, you get 55% more. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So that's where we ended up on that video, the third video for the day, appealing to a wider audience. Oh, and the video that I ended up posting today, this morning on my main channel, looks like it will outperform yesterday's best video. So again, I think we are moving towards the right direction. We're going down the right path. Even if the video was 10 of 10, but it was appealing to a wider audience and gaining subscribers, I think that that's a win. And at the same time, if, let's just say, for instance, the last 10 videos I posted have a similar amount of views, well, a 10 of 10 is as good as the first 1 of 10. The YouTube Studio most recent upload ranking system is a mental mind fuck for those who don't necessarily really understand it and only equate it to their personal performance at that time. And it's hardly the case. Perhaps maybe the best thing that anybody can do if they want to start on YouTube or kind of improve their mental state when it comes to YouTube is only do live streams. Only do live streams, because live streams don't show up in the 1 of 10 most recent video upload ranking system, and therefore you don't have that comparison right in front of your face, just hitting you as soon as you open YouTube Studio. So there's a little creator tip. Now, on the second channel, what I'm doing is I'm testing out the second channel as more of a reaction channel. And yeah, I got notes here so I don't forget what I want to tell you guys, because this was in my mind earlier, but then I was like, I want to take the car out. I want to get into an environment where I'm comfortable and I just want to share and talk to you guys. And what I do is I kind of drive around and just get in the mood, but then also I'm always kind of keeping an eye out for like just nice locations and scenery that, inspire conversation, inspire chat, just inspire, a positive attitude. And I was watching the David Boland yesterday, and he's definitely a huge inspiration, especially for me now on this channel and across all my other channels. But he was just sitting in front of the pool. He was sitting in front of the pool, and I was like, man, this is just a beautiful scenery. This is just such a relaxing environment. And so, yeah. When in Rome, being here in Florida, fortunately, we have great weather and, great locations. And I found this place that was pretty empty and vacant, so I can take up this spot in the parking lot. But yeah, that's just kind of how I roll. Even still, considering like if we were to travel, well, then all that would be travel expense, and it's a business expense because we're creating YouTube content. And YouTube is our business. So, it's just icing on the cake. It's just an added perk to what we do. So the second channel, speaking of travel, I am testing it out as more of a reaction channel instead of a family vlog. But it's still a work in progress for essentially to find out what I like best as far as ease and simplicity to help maintain consistency and produce the greatest return on my investment being time. My general philosophy is make what you want and make what's easy. And so I try to stick to that. With that being said, it needs to make money. So if what I want to make and what's easy to make isn't making money, then I got to make some tweaks and I got to make some changes. But as I make those tweaks and make those changes to figure out what works, I then try to incorporate the fun and the ease into it to get back to, the core of make what you want, make what's easy. My goals are still the same. And the sooner that I can reach the personal net worth level I desire and have set out for myself, then the sooner the door to my exit strategy will open. And that's really what I focus on. That's primarily what I focus on through and through. I saw a Casey Neistat clip. I'll see if I can find it. I'll share it with you guys. And he's like, the sooner you realize that nobody cares about you, the better off you are.
Nobody cares about you is something that was never made clear to me. And I mean that in the most positive, optimistic, inspiring, motivating way, especially if you see yourself as a creative or you want to exist on YouTube or as a filmmaker, or as a musician or as an artist or a painter, or any of those things. Like, you think that everybody's paying attention. And because of that, it kind of controls how you think. And even when I was young and fearless and nothing to lose, I was still so cognizant of like, how are people going to react to this? And what's the best way to do, like, I was so aware. And the reality is nobody gives a shit. Everybody is so focused on themselves in this world. Nobody has time for you. And the sooner you accept that as a creative person, the sooner you're free. Like, you're totally free. Like, do exactly what feels right to you. And if you can get yourself on that trajectory, then it goes back to what we were talking about before, about being novel, about being an original, about not being a photocopy of somebody who did something. If you're that photocopy, you will never be the original. But the moment you accept the fact that nobody cares, do your thing, nobody cares. And then you start to go down that path, you will just get better and better and better. Then you sprinkle on that patience I was talking about. You just keep going. You keep going. And like, your moment of explosion, your detonation will happen.
That opens up your creativity and your freedom. And then you're literally unstoppable. And so I don't go into it worrying about or wanting or hoping or trying to get people to care about me or even like me. I only go into it from the perspective of, I want it to be successful. And successful to me varies depending, but on the main channel, my success, and on the second channel, my success is going to be based on revenue. Revenue, 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 income, income, income. The money it makes. That's first and foremost for the main channel and the second channel. And sticking with the philosophy of just giving it all away for free, which is ironic to say as I'm sitting here saying I want to make money. Well, that works because, YouTube pays for views. YouTube pays for engagement. YouTube pays, advertisers pay YouTube. YouTube pays creators, and so on and so forth. And there's, other ancillary components to that we discussed as far as my 7 revenue streams on a previous video. So I'm just going to do just that. Give it away for free. This question was presented as a comment on a video yesterday, or maybe it came through this morning. Not really sure. I don't remember. And at first I was thinking, well, I'll share this with you guys over on school. I'll share it with you on Patreon. But no, I'm just going to give you the answer here for free. And of all my niches, the one that I'm experiencing the most success in, actually, let me pull this comment up and read it to you exactly the way that it was asked. And then I'm going to give you my answer for it. I will say that I'm going to provide even more detail in school on Patreon. Again, both of those are mirrored. So if you like school, go to school. If you like Patreon, go to Patreon. They're going to be mirrored. But the question here was, this is the first time I'm viewing your channel. So that's interesting. We need to talk about that. What niche or niches are you finding the most success with? So let's just say I've got 4 niche categories. The first one being the main channel, being world news and politics. Okay. Some things a lot of people don't want to talk about. Okay. That's number 1. The second channel is, at the time right now, kind of like a vlog, like a family lifestyle vlog, but also going into reaction. So then you got that niche. And then you've got the third channel, which is my car channel. That's clear, easy to understand, cars. And then this channel here, which I don't know what niche this is yet because YouTube hasn't really assigned it an audience, but I would say it's like motivation, inspiration, content creation, YouTube, how to, and maybe finance, and maybe finance, personal finance, business finance. Maybe that's, I would say, a finance category, maybe. I don't really know. Business category. So those are the niche categories I have. And with the question asking, What niche are you finding the most success with? Well, that was what I was asking you guys earlier, as far as how do you define success? Okay. Because that's going to be different for everybody. As I've defined my main channel and my second channel, my success is based on revenue. That's it. My success is based on revenue, AdSense, ad revenue, sponsorships, affiliates, memberships. That's how I define success. I don't care about subscriber counts. I don't even really care about views. I only care about revenue, because your revenue isn't necessarily linear to your views. So I just want to find the most efficient and effective way to make the most money possible in a way that is making what I want and is easy. That's it. That's it. So the beauty of that is, by not only chasing views, but chasing the money, then you're less attractive to the outside world looking in at all they can really see, which are vanity metrics, and you're less likely to be copied. The moment you get copied is the moment that everything kind of gets saturated, and then it makes it harder for you to make the same money by doing the same amount of work. YouTube is definitely an environment of copycats, and there's even folks out there now making videos showing people how to copy other people to skirt the algorithm's copyright system and make a lot of money. If you see these videos, odds are they are telling you the absolute truth. They are telling you God honest truth. But essentially, you would be jumping into a pool of others copying each other to eventually becoming irrelevant, because there's no identity, there's no authenticity, and eventually everybody gets tired. Like, the audience and the algorithm will get tired of the same old over and over and over again. So my main channel and my second channel's success is based on revenue. My car channel success right now is based on my happiness. And so that channel, as long as I'm making videos about cars that I like and I enjoy and I'm happy, and it's like a mental break in a vacation, then it's a success. Now, from the perspective of others starting these channels or trying to grow their channels, I will say that picking up this C8 Z06 and including it in my videos has definitely just skyrocketed the growth of the channel and the speed in which, and it's propelled it to get monetized in like a week or two, after years of having it and posting randomly and sporadically. But literally, like, in a week or two videos picked up like over 100,000 views probably on a channel that at the time had, just crossed over 1,000 subscribers. Like, that was it. And so it's like, well, if I was mentoring, if I was coaching, if I was consulting, training and teaching someone with a car channel on how to be successful from the standpoint of growing an audience, being able to apply for monetization and apply for the YouTube Partner Program, being attractive to sponsors and all sorts of other things, well, then there's great success there, as long as you know how to reach that audience. And so I would say that is definitely successful. So far, out of the 3 channels, I'm finding success in multiple niches, okay, in multiple different ways. Lastly, the 4th one, this channel here, again, I would say is a success. And so whatever niche category you want to define this as, I would say it's a success, because not too long ago, well, a while ago, I actually started this channel, and then I kind of just disappeared. And then the David Bolin inspired me to return. I did. I began talking to you guys, telling my story, sharing my story, and here we are. And since then, the channel has grown in subscribers, literally daily. The views on some of these videos have crossed over 1,000 views. And it's like, in perspective of a channel at the time had 30 something subscribers or 60 something subscribers, now 178 plus subscribers, getting views over the total amount of subscribers. That's a success. That's a success. The ability for me to sit here and talk and really express myself and get these thoughts out and then document them and share them with you and perhaps maybe help other people, that's a success. And even to the point of which people are now sending me text messages and talking to me about their channels and business opportunities, Zoom calls and different things like that, then it's a success. I mean, the goal here is to essentially start over as I was at 39, now 40 years old, in less of a YouTuber, trend chasing, need the most viral view videos, to starting over to, let's just keep it real. Let's just talk like regular people. Let's just talk like if you saw me out, if you heard me speaking, you'd say, that's Kevin. I know that's Kevin. I can hear, because it's the same. It's no different. I'm not reading a script. I'm not trying to pretend to be something or somebody that I'm not. That's just it. That's a success. With that being said, I see this channel continuing to grow. I see people, primarily probably young men or men my age or maybe even older, being motivated and inspired, folks being informed and educated, and just learning. And I see this channel growing. I see this channel reaching the level to apply for monetization. I would assume probably in the next month. We'll give it 30 days. So today is day 30, or today's day 12. So I'd say by day 42, we can go back and look and see, did we reach that? Did we reach that in the next 30 days? And if it's before that, we're obviously going to talk about it. If it's after that, it is what it is. But I would say that this is absolutely a success. So the niche categories that I find the most success, let me make sure I'm reading this comment right. Finding the most success with are those that I just described. But more so, regardless, these are only the categories that I'm in. The categories that other people are in, I feel very confident I could still find success for them in those categories, because I know how this works. I understand how the algorithm works, YouTube works. I understand how people work, and I understand just how to put it all together in a simple and easy format, especially from the standpoint of you don't need a lot. I have a really cheap Amazon tripod here. I have my iPhone. I have a cheap wireless microphone, and I have a MacBook that I was using, a cheap MacBook Air for the longest, but then I decided to buy a Pro just because, for a variety of reasons, but unnecessary. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars with the cheapest of cheap. And you don't need crazy studio lighting. You don't need a big budget. You don't need to go out and buy a car. You don't need to travel. You don't need to do any of that shit. You don't. You really don't. And my wife is a prime example, because she only uses her smartphone, and she uploads and she makes thumbnails on her phone, or she goes live, and she makes more money than I do. She makes more money than I do. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, if you've got an honest story, if you have something to share, and you have an opportunity for success, okay? Because what you have inside of you is valuable to some, and some on YouTube, in YouTube social media world, is many. There are some people who are favored, in my opinion, favored by the algorithm. And if you and your charisma and your character and your attitude and your energy or whatever falls into that category, like, you've already got it. And so the most successful niches are going to be, I think, the niche categories that really align with the creator, so that they can then make content based on my two basic principles: make what you want and make what's easy. You fall into whatever niche that is, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And I think that's where you find the most success.